Penny Weaver stayed so still that the field sparrow in her yard didn't seem to know she was there. It was better in the early morning, when she could see the solid color on his proud chest. In this late afternoon light, a field sparrow seemed like an ordinary little brown job. After he flew off, she crossed the yard to the old milking stable that her brother Micah had converted into a guest house with the help of a few men from their church. Inside the guest house, Penny took one last look around. On a whim, she had cut a handful of late-blooming chrysanthemums from the garden and put them in a mason jar to set on the small table. The guest house was made up of 2 small bedrooms, a tiny but functional bathroom, and a sitting area with a wood stove. Against the wall, near the table, was a kitchenette of sorts, a sink, and a mini refrigerator and microwave with power provided by a generator. It wasn't fancy, certainly nothing like these English strangers were probably accustomed to. But it was clean, tidy, warm, and the strangers had asked the bishop, David Stoltzfus, for a place to stay while birding with Micah. She had to remember that, especially if they were the complaining type. They had asked. If this worked out, it might provide needed income. The bishop came up with the notion of adding a guest house at Lost Creek Farm for birders to encourage longer guiding trips for Micah than the usual one-day outings.
"This could be a good thing for Micah," David had said. "It could be just the thing to bring him out of his shell. And it's good for Stoney Ridge, too. Micah's eye and ear for rare birds seems to be God's means to bring blessings to our town."
It did seem as if the Almighty was working overtime lately to bring Micah out of the shadows. Last January, he'd spotted a black-backed oriole pecking away at Penny's kitchen feeder. The black-backed was a stunning cousin to the Baltimore oriole, but this one lived in central Mexico. It was only the second time the black-backed oriole had been spotted in the United States. Ever. That little bird created a major attraction during its 2-month stay, drawing bird lovers from all over the country. As if that wasn't enough, in early March, Micah spotted a roseate spoonbill. While it wasn't hard to notice, goodness, it stood nearly a yard tall, with pink feathers like flamingos. Where Micah had found it was remarkable. An overlooked, hard-to-get-to creek that ran along the northern edge of town. It had been nearly 50 years since the last roseate spoonbill was spotted in Pennsylvania. Why it had traveled from Florida, remaining for nearly a month in a creek so insignificant it had no name, was a mystery. Then again, that's what made birding so intriguing. Birds didn't always act or play according to the rules. And now, in mid-November, Penny's brother had sighted the white-winged tern, a vagrant bird, rarely seen in all of North America. Suddenly, it seemed that birders everywhere knew the name Micah Weaver.